introducing ourselves for the four Dharmas of Gampopa, the great enlightened master who came in Tibet in the 11th century. He was the responsible, all the Buddha's teachings put into one path towards enlightenment without any contradiction between Sutra and the Vajrayana Tantra teaching. So we are so fortunate to have this opportunity. He has a great skill to expand the teachings in a very elaborated. At the same time, he has a great skill to bring all those into teachings in a short, succinct, concise, like the 4 lines, the 4 Dharmas of Gampopa. The mind follows the Dharma. Dharma becomes the path, and the confusion dispelled from the path, and the confusion or the mistake transformed, we should say transformed, or dawned, or as the wisdom. In other words, transforming the samsara as the enlightened state. In other words, our very confusion that we have, all the mental afflictions, they are nothing but their nature is wisdom when we realize. When we don't realize, the confusion is confusion. You can't claim there are wisdom. They are root cause of suffering. But when you have wisdom, mental capacity, has enough nerve to digest these confusions are nothing but their nature is empty, and that emptiness can be realized by the wisdom, and that is how it becomes the wisdom. So therefore, how much people, just I've now explaining this last few days, people in the world, how much they devoted their whole life to build their life in a business, in the politics, in the science, social studies, computer engineering. So all that you see, they risk their whole life for this, to make life better, successful, famous, all these things, But then at the end of the day, then nothing was productive, and we die without much satisfaction, only more suffering, confusion, and then mentally they're unclear, all this very obvious. Here, no, I'm not saying everything's bad, but as I mentioned, we have to understand how samsara functions, and they have no choice. There's no other alternative for those individuals because they have no opportunities. Now here, the Buddha's teaching, especially like Gampopa, brought these teachings put into practice. Okay, it's called practicing lineage, not just analyze, investigate. Then you just comprehend or you understood these teachings. That's not enough to understand, to get the conviction, go through a lot of analysis, investigations. They are very important at the first place. But once you analyzed, once you investigated, once you have the conviction, and once you understood to follow fully, then put into practice is the thing that how we get the benefit from this, you see. Without the practice, then as I mentioned, the food you prepared so well, so delicious, but if you don't experience, if you don't eat it, and not so much benefit there. All the hard work you made, and there's not so much there, you know. So here we are now encouraging, you know, to get the benefit, practice, so that then we can get help ourselves and we can help others as well. You know. Otherwise, our mind remains as ordinary mind, means with full of confusion, these arrogance, mental afflictions, they're still alive. No matter how much you investigate it, no matter how much you say these are not exist, they are just illusory nature. They are, you know, it's all just mental delusions. Like they are like a cloud. No matter you say, until we put the practice, they will not go anywhere. They will stay with us as fresh. Then they will say, you cannot defeat me. You know, we are stronger than you are, you know. We have been with you through these all countless lifetimes, still will remain with you. You know, so until we put into practice, you know, meditate on, you know, through this all, everything is nothing but impermanence. You know? Everything is in the samsara state of suffering because of you. Acknowledge that, you know, I suffer so much because of you that abides in my mind. You know? So how much I went through all this physical suffering, mental suffering, is because of you. So I know today, you know, today I came to know. So now you have no other alternative, just only to go. Yeah, my door is opened. Now you please go. You exit. So this is what the four Dharmas of Gampopa, as we just briefly touched about how the first samsara exists, functions, and through the 8 worldly concerns, you know, how much we attach to. And regarding to this, wearing Dharma robes, shaving head, they don't care, you know. With wearing Dharma robes, shaving the head, the 8 worldly concern is so fresh in your heart, you know, and these mental afflictions, they are smiling at you. You pretend to be something special, but there's nothing special. But then you practice, you understand, and reduce them slowly. So through the mission impermanence, through the suffering of samsara, reflecting the causalities, the nature of these mental afflictions, so they have now you have no other choice. You know? So the Dharma becomes the Dharma. Okay. And then Dharma becomes the path. You know, totally dedicated to free from samsara. I want to achieve liberation. So liberation, there, as this morning I've read few of this, you see, there's individual liberation, Mayana liberation. So the Sharavakas, Partik Buddha's liberation. So since we have this great Mayana, you know, teachings, how to cultivate bodhicitta, so we don't astray the path. We follow the mainstream for the enlightenment, bodhicitta. This is such a great, you see, it's unimaginable. You know. We should say such advanced practice, such for the enlightenment. Only few people can make it. See, so we just reflect on this. We are stuck in the samsara. And then the samsara is very difficult to get rid of. Miller ever said, you know, first samsara is very impressive. Very impressive. Very kind of, you know, introducing you, everything so beautiful. You know? And in the middle, there is a lot of distractions. Your mind is distracted here, there, all this. But now yes, takes your attention, all the distractions. Then at the end, nothing but only suffering. So that's why I say, I know the samsara, so I gave up I renounced the samsara. And he said, the wealth, the wealth looks like a wish-granting jewel. So when you have this, oh, your soul, kind of, your mind is drawn in that direction. No Tanguyeshin, no Buddha, part of metta, but in the middle, you have to have those things. Transita. At the end, it's like the honey, you know, the bees' honey. As I mentioned, the bees, they work so hard to produce the honey. They dedicate their whole life to produce the honey, you know. At the end, somebody enjoys. They cannot enjoy their, no. So we are like that. See, like those. No, I'm not saying bad things, but just reality, nature. Those billionaires, you know, they have still one mouth, one stomach, you know. How much you can eat, you know. So, you know, but they have to work so hard, you know, to make that, you know. Yeah. Then we don't know how long they will live. And at the end, they have to leave everything behind. Somebody will enjoy. So, Dharma practice. The point here is Dharma is such a precious source of real peace and happiness. Because of that, we are talking about these things. Otherwise, people are, they're working hard. There's nothing wrong with that, But since we have the Dharma, our best choice to study, practice the Dharma, to free from entire samsara. Okay. So, well, what I'm saying about here now, right now, dispelling the confusion, dispelling the confusion from the path. You see, so don't go in the wrong direction. Don't sidetracked. So there's a right track and off the track, isn't it? So, so we are try to follow the right track. Okay. A lot of people there now. First, they are so interested, and then they fall aside, and then they're off the track. And in other words, they can't derail, not into the right direction. So when you First, when you are interested, Dharma study, practice, that is first is called right track. Then if you're going to the wrong track, or say off the track, or derail, then reflect on the impermanence of the phenomena. Everything's composite. And that composite matters are just changing. As you can see, like the river running, like the watch, the second is moving. And then sometimes it's state of suffering. Always good to know. Remind yourself this. Sometimes you feel very impressive, but still it is state of suffering. Suffering will change. This morning I mentioned. And then you see causality, the infallible causality, or inexorable causality. These things you reflect on this. Then I was talking this morning, this our body is a basis of the samsara, basis of our suffering. But now when you study these things, this can be basis of our practice for enlightenment. You see, with this body, then you take refuge in the Buddha Dharma Sangha, and then cultivate the loving kindness, compassion, and bodhicitta. See, your mind, that the one phase of the mind, samsaric phase of the mind, now you change to the enlightened mind, the mind, and that one mind. And with that, you just exercise. This, as I mentioned, the loving kindness. There are three different types of loving kindness. So the first is called the Simjala Mikpe. In the reference of the sentient beings, you practice loving kindness. Focus on the generally sentient beings, they desire, they wish for all the peace and happiness. And on the basis of that, you reflect your mind. I wish all sentient beings has all the happiness. You turn your mind in that. Then the second is called the reference for the sentient being as the cause. What are the cause for peace and happiness? So practicing loving kindness itself, practicing bodhicitta, and all the virtuous activities are the cause for peace and happiness. So wishing, you wish everybody practice the cause for the peace and happiness. Everybody desire peace and happiness, but they're in the wrong place. Keep creating to destroy peace and happiness. So you see that. And then he said, then suffering, so compassion. Sentient beings, you see there as we have reflected, suffering. Everyone in the samsara, rich or poor, educated, uneducated, all are suffering so much without choice, going through. And we wish all free from the suffering. That's called reference, the sentient beings as object, and as it is suffering, and wish all are free from the suffering. And the second, same as reference on the cause of the suffering. Well, the desire to free from the suffering, they create the cause of suffering. So they're saying, This Shantideva said, they all desire to free from suffering, but they chase the suffering. They chase the suffering. See, and say they desire, they wish to have all the peace and happiness, but they destroy the peace and happiness as if they were enemy through the ignorance, you see. They deliberately destroy the peace and happiness. Just an example of war. They make war, they know, to free from suffering, to have happiness. I win the war. It's like that. But you see, when they're battling in the war, nothing but suffering. Both sides are losers. So you see, this is due to the ignorance. So look at this, and we meditate. That's the wisdom we get from Buddha's teaching. See, so this is how to know how to track the right path, not to derail from the path. So go this step by step like this. Then we dispel the all the obstacles to the path. These are practice of every day. When you get up in the morning, you know, let's just see suffering, some state of suffering. Everybody desire for peace and happiness. Reflect on the suffering, reflect on the impermanence. Then develop the loving kindness, compassion. And the Lord Jesus said, right at the beginning, in the morning, as soon as you wake up, reflect on the loving kindness. Because the sleep is neutral. When you sleep, then it's just darkness, nothing. From that, when you wake up, your mind just bring the mind into the loving kindness. The whole your wind energy transform into loving kindness, compassion, and then your whole body transform into that, and the whole day can stay with that. So it's very precious. Just the practices you can do in your daily life. As I mentioned, these are the real, actual practice that you get the benefits. It's not something expectation. No need to expect. As soon as you practice that moment you get the benefit. Your mind feels relaxed, see, clear, see. Then you see everything what we see is all, we are just so fixated. These things are real, existed, but they're so impermanent. Just a manifestation, illusory nature, or like a dream. So it's like in the dream, you are dreaming. In the dream, then you found a big piece of gold, and you're so excited in the dream. I got this piece of gold. Now what should I do? You are planning, no? How should I use this gold? Maybe I buy a big piece of land and then build a really nice house, or maybe then I will enjoy my life there. This you are planning, and you're so excited, And then after planning all this, you started getting a piece of land, going around, and then at that moment you wake up from this sleeve. Now, where's the gold? Where's the piece of land? See? So in the dream, it was actual, real. You got the piece of gold. You're really excited. The gold is in your hand, and you are going to buy a piece of land, going to build a house. No, you feel so good, As soon as you wake up, where's the gold? Where's the land? Oh, this is like a dream. So look at this, sometimes you dream, like flood, taken by the flood. You're so kind of now traumatized by this. So a lot of fear, excitement, what to do, how to get rid of this, all this. And then in middle of this, you just wake up from the dream and your heart was beating, but there's no flood. See? And you feel so relieved. Oh, no flood. I'm so happy. I'm out of the flood. Oh, no. So that's a dream, So life is like a dream. So look at these things. And then go forward for the enlightenment. See? One way it seems difficult, but another way is not difficult. Everything's just a manifestation. But we got used to this, seeing everything's real. When I get something that I want, I feel so happy. When I lost something, I feel so kind of feeling of pain. These things are there. But if you practice like this, everything's like a dream. Everything's just a manifestation of these things. And then you get used to this. And then you feel Dharma is so more important. Oh, I must practice more, go forwards. This. So this is how to follow the path. Reflecting impermanence, reflecting suffering of samsara, reflecting on the causality, the karma cause, and then reflecting everything is transitory nature. Nothing is substantial. Like you see this last, you saw this Morocco earthquake. So the earthquake shacked all that area, destroyed all those things. There was such a beautiful city on the mountain, all become rubbish. Nothing else. This is how transitory nature is. Even the very hard, rocky mountain and earthquakes have just destroys. But these things, just these are all just examples you take. So I used to say, there's a lot of examples we can demonstrate, show everything is impermanent. Everything's not real. No. But there's no one example can show us that everything is permanent. Is there any? It's all like permanent because of like this. Do you have any example of this? Everything's real like this. Is there any example? There's a lot of example, everything's not real, like say mirage, rainbow, magician's trick, all there, how they're all display all this. So long this you see. Reflect on these things. The most important is we do these things just to handle our mental afflictions. Mind is such a grasping, fixated, these mental afflictions, you see. They are very difficult to get rid of. My ego, my attachment, very difficult to get rid of, difficult to minimize. No. Then sometimes they say, say, I don't agree with you, they say, But through these analysis, through this investigation, and through the practice, step by step, every day, the mindfulness, and helps go through this. So, these are some tips to reflect our life, be useful for the Dharma study practice. Dharma study practice has mentioned not just only for monks and nuns, for everybody. Milarepa was not a monk. He was a lay person. Marva was not monk. He was a lay man, but made such great sacrifice. So there are so many lay practitioners like Atishas, the best disciple, Gampopa. He was a lay person also. Gampopa was lay. He was not monk. But Atishas, top student, the forefather of the Kadamba's lineage. So like this, so everybody, lay practitioners, monks, nuns, all we have the same responsibilities, because for our own benefit, for our own peace and happiness. Then what I'm reading now. Then I think I just read this. Page 15, he said, furthermore, if you see all sentient beings as a mother, you will cultivate love. If you generate love, compassion will naturally be generated. If you generate compassion, you will generate the wish to be free from suffering. There's no one else other than the complete and the perfect Buddha who is free from all the suffering. Therefore, one must generate the thought of the achieving Buddhahood. So as you mentioned, our practice is total solution of the suffering, to free from the suffering, so that everybody can do it. So he said, first we develop love, and then after that follows the compassion. And then after the compassion is there, then one can develop bodhicitta. When these are practiced step by step and perfected, all means, then it will become the Buddha. When only one becomes the Buddha, that's the place of the perfection, of the free from all the suffering. Because all the causes of the suffering are totally exhausted, not exist. And then because of that, then there's no cause of suffering. When there's no cause of suffering, the total peace is just there. Buddha Maitreya says, apart from the Lord Buddha, there's no nirvana. The total, the absolute nirvana is Buddhahood. There's no other nirvana besides the Buddha. You know, in our Ratna Megamena Mahayana Sutram, it is said, to him of great renown and great wisdom, great Muni. Here Muni means Buddha. Able one, Muni. Sage is Sanskrit word. Great sage, the Buddha. The great warrior. So Buddha was the great warrior who has transcended the sorrow of the samsara, transcended all the mental afflictions. I bow down. So I bow down to the Buddha who transcended all the cause of suffering and suffering itself. So this we can do in the precious human life. When we have time, when we are able. In the Madhyamika Avatara, they mentioned precious human life has all the possibilities. First of all, we have freedom. And we have all the conditions. The free from the 8 leisures, the 10 endowments, and you have faith, the trusting faith, longing faith, clear faith towards enlightenment. And there's a teacher, there's a Dharma teachings. So when you have all these conditions and you have excellent opportunities, well, you have that opportunity. If you don't take advantage of this, then once you fall down, if you wish to practice Dharma, you have no opportunity. See, the example is given. When you go to battle, the general who has all the weapons to fight the enemy, he has all the weapons and ability to do anything to get the victory from the enemy. But once, if the general is caught by the enemy and take all the weapons out, put in the prison, tied with all the ropes. So if general thinks, now I will try my best to get the victory, this is impossible, It's impossible. Because you're in the first place, you are in the prison, and then surrounded by all the prison guards, and you are tied by the ropes. How you can do that? So, if when you're born as in the animal realm, say, I want to achieve enlightenment, there's no inner conditions. So this is the time. When we have this precious human life, when we have the Dharma, it's the time to make effort. And also when we're getting older and older, then difficult to practice Dharma. Physically difficult to sit a long time. your back aches, your knee aches. No, your mind is not clear. And then you say, oh, I can't meditate, I'm tired. You let down. When you're sick, no, I can't meditate. This pain takes over my mind. So you see, even you have the precious human life, but when you're aged, when you get sick, difficult to meditate, difficult to practice. So when you have the all these conditions right now, it's the best opportunity to follow, practice Dharma, So this is how first, So this one, you see, okay. And what is said here, read. After developing the thought of the attaining Buddhahood, that means bodhicitta, you cultivated. You engage in the courses for becoming a Buddha, which are pursuing with the effort that seeks perfection and in Mayana secret mantra. So then, practice-wise, there's once you cultivated bodhicitta, so now I cultivate bodhicitta, now follow into the path. The sixth perfection, the practice of generosity, the practice of the moral ethics, and the practice of the patience, the practice of the perseverance, and the practice of the meditative concentration. And the sixth is the wisdom, awareness. See? So practice of generosity means releasing attachment. So in the Vinaya, you see, you get the teachings, don't steal, don't do this, don't harm, don't tell lies, so forth, you see. Now in the Father, then when you come to the Mayana, instead of stealing, practice generosity, giving. It's such a joyous method. Giving not just only wealth, giving wisdom. Like say the teacher who go to school, who teach at the school how to practice loving kindness, how to practice compassion, how to be good person, how to be happy, good conduct, these things, giving wisdom. And it's so joyful. Even just giving smile. There's some people who are walking the street with a frowning face, look so upset, depressed, If you smile at them, and they smile at you and they feel fresh. Real, it costs nothing. So Shantideva said, when you have freedom, you smile. The dogs, they don't know how to smile. Only they move, they shake their tail. That much they can do, when they're happy. But in the face, they cannot smile, And we can smile, It's a great gift that you can give to others. Kind words, see, these are giving. Giving fearlessness, those who are danger in their life, giving fearlessness, giving wisdom, giving anything. So it's a joyous part. Giving something very meaningful. See, here, moral ethics is virtue and non-virtue. This is very precious. Even I think scientists that don't know so much about the virtue and non-virtue. If you just talk about that, when you say, don't kill this insect, it is non-virtue. And they will say, what it makes it non-virtue to killing insect? You know? So there's a line between virtue and non-virtue. There's a demarcation. Virtue is a cause for peace and happiness. Non-virtue is a cause for suffering. It's not something religious belief. It's how reality, how it functions. So that's morality is moral ethics. Moral ethics is preserving all the virtues and distance from the non-virtue cause of suffering. That's called moral ethics. That makes a person pure, precious. That makes the person reliable, trustworthy. So that's the morality practice. There's so much, but there's understanding. See, and patience here. Patience has a different connotation. Some may see it looks like a very wasting your time. Say, be patient, wasting your time, I think so we should say, actually the meaning is forbearance, bear the difficulties. Patient practice can be, you have anger, hatred, aversion, but you don't express. Even though you have those in your heart, but you don't express. I'm waiting here patiently, with all aversion, So here, patience means the absence of general mental afflictions, especially the anger. Forbearance. You bear the consequences with compassion, with courage. So that's patience, Because here express more anger is because when there's anger, when you are outraged, and your mind is nothing but to only destroy. So destructive. It destroys all your virtue. So for that, they practice of patience. And then perseverance is called the joyous effort, making effort joyfully. That's hardworking and perseverance, the two things. Some, when you go to school to get a good exam, good result, A, B, you work so hard. If you don't want to, but you're making anyway because you have to, that we don't call perseverance. That's just working hard. Here, Dharma practice, you practice joyfully. Sitting even 1 minute, you're feeling so wonderful. I'm so fortunate. I watch my mind, I relax. So joyfully avoiding all the non-virtues. I'm so privileged. I know the cause of suffering. Now I can do it. There's so many people who don't know what's the cause of suffering. As earlier mentioned, they engage in the cause of suffering and they think they're doing something right. So here we're making effort to preserve, to progress all the causes for peace and happiness based on wisdom and compassion. So making effort joyfully. And then When you have that perseverance, then there's meditative concentration. It means mind calm. Keeping your mind calm and peaceful. And then wisdom awareness. So these all six perfection we can put into three categories, three training. The training of the morality. In the training of the morality is a practice of generosity, morality, patience. All these three you can put into the practice of the morality. And then meditative concentration is the second. Samadhi, meditative concentration. The third is wisdom awareness. So these are three training. So, perseverance goes to all the three to perfect the practice of morality, to perfect the practice of the meditative concentration, and to perfect the practice of wisdom awareness. We need the perseverance until one achieves the Buddhahood. So we need the practice of the perseverance. So these three, you see, to cross the border of this samsara, go beyond samsara, we need to have this shamatha and vipassana, the meditative concentration and wisdom awareness. Without that, no matter how much you accumulate merits, all this, you get, of course, good result in the samsara, but cannot cross this beyond samsara. Even Sharavakas, Pratik Buddha, they also have to have these three training. So in the Bodhicharya Avatara, in that text mentioned very precisely, Shine Rabdo Dembel, Hatonkis, Numon number Jumbre, Shechenes, with the having extreme or sublime shamatha, one-pointed, virtuous, one-pointed mind. Then, with the support of that and wisdom awareness, the special insight, when these two are synchronized, they come together, work together, then one can annihilate all these mental afflictions. So then you cross the border of samsara. So this, you have to follow the path step by step. See, here, so that the generation and the completion stage. Then next, yes, it is the Vajrayana practice. Yes, this generation, the generation and completion stage is the secret mantra. You see, the sixth perfection in the Mahayana and the secret mantra, the generation and the completion stage. These which all arise in relationship with each others. First, you see, now, many of you know the Tantra Vajrayana practice. You know, I'm sure many of you have received so many empowerments. Abhisheka, maybe your head is maybe flat. Put vase on your head, so many, isn't it? Each time when there's empowerment, there's vase on your head, isn't it? You know, there's a the owl, the bird owl, you know, it's called the owls contradict stories. Contradiction story of the owls. He said, have you heard of that? No? There's a, the owl, the bird, the head is flat, you see, unlike other birds. It's little, the face is round, the head is flat, And somebody asked the owl, why your head is so flat? Because I received so many empowerments, he said. And then he said, his ear, there's a lot of hair, feather, on the hair, the feathers. And why you have so many feathers in your ears? Because I haven't heard of the Dharma word. I haven't heard of Dharma words, I received so many empowerment, but no Dharma words, And then his what's called this, his leg, what do you call that? Oh, claw, it's so wrinkled, a lot of wrinkles on the face, and in his head, his the leg, where you have this all the wrinkles on your claw, because I haven't seen any, can't say oil. I haven't got any oil, so my feet become pieces wrinkled, And they say, where your eyes are so yellow, because I drink a lot of greasy food. I didn't eat, So, so it's called the owl's contradict story. So you receive so many empowerments, but how much you have realized now. So anyhow, I was just teasing, the point here is generation and the completion stage. First, you receive empowerment. And there are 4 stages of the Vajrayana teachings, Tantra. Kriya Tantra, Charya Tantra, Yoga Tantra, Anuttara Tantra, 4 Tantras. And the 4th, the one is the highest, Yoga Tantra, the Anutantra. So in that, there's 4 empowerments. As we did this Guru Yoga this morning, the Guru Yoga is Anuttara Tantra. And each of these stages of the empowerment, there's explanations, give you teachings, step by step. Anyhow, now when you practice, there are 2 stages. There's the stage of the generation and the stage of the completion. The generation stage, after you receive the empowerment, you then involve, develop, or engage yourself with the deity yoga, the deity state. Like say, if you receive Chenresic empowerment, if you receive Dara empowerment, then you become Dara, white Dara, green Dara, or Chenresic, you see, you become that. That's called generation stage, okay? Once you are generated, or arising, sometimes called arising stage, generation stage, okay? Then with that state, then you practice meditation, like chanting the mantra, Om Tari Tudari Turi Soha, so, mantra goes round, purify whole universe, purify all sentient beings. Everyone becomes Chenresic, everyone becomes Tara. So this is called completion stage. This is called completion stage with science, or chakra practice, prana practice. There's a lot of practices. It's called the completion stage of the science, exercising all this. Then that's all dissolved into emptiness, you see. That emptiness, you see, is called the completion stage without sign. Now, no signs. So in the Buddhist Vajrayana practice, the difference, there are the Hindu Tantra practice, the Buddhist Tantra practice. Some people ask what the difference. The difference you see in the Buddhist, first we have to have the renunciation before we practice Vajrayana Tantra. Then we must take refuge in the Buddha, Dharma, Sangha. Okay. Then we must cultivate bodhicitta thoroughly, get real into this bodhicitta. Then with that, you just understand everything is nothing but emptiness. See, here in the emptiness, you see, in the heart sutra, everybody knows heart sutra. In this called the form, Shittil, the form is emptiness. Emptiness is a form. Form is no other than emptiness. And emptiness is no other than form. See? So this we have to understand. That's it. Now emptiness, as you know, now it in this modern quantum physics theory that helps us is no longer as a mysterious, through the quantum physics theory. The scientists, they analyze the dust particle, all the dust particles, they analyze, investigate, and make smaller in the machine. At the end, there's nothing, So they have found nothingness. So this same idea. But scientists, they did it not through the meditation, but by using the machine. So when they found this whole planet is nothing but empty, now they don't know what to do with that. So they put aside, you see. They don't talk so much about it. Because now in the emptiness, you cannot play anything. Now in the Buddhist, that's the big deal. Okay. All your affliction, the afflicting emotions, they are also nothing but empty. And you meditate on. See? All dissolve into emptiness and manifest everything from emptiness. That's why the form is emptiness and emptiness is a form. See? You see, in our thoughts, in the mind, all the thoughts are coming unceasingly. They are coming from emptiness. Okay. Due to the habit, then just keep coming. And then they dissolve into emptiness, you see. If they don't dissolve emptiness, you see, you imagine all your thoughts are stored where you can store all these thoughts. You cannot find such space to store all your thoughts. So good thing is that they dissolve into emptiness. Okay. So form is emptiness and emptiness form. So you have to understand this. So there's no such called Atma, the ego, the divine soul. No. Within that emptiness, everything is emptiness. Within that, you cannot find a divine soul. It's just mere empty. So you visualize your deity, practice from emptiness. So I'm sure you are practicing those some white Dara, green Dara, cherries, First you say all those refuge prayer, cultivate bodhicitta, so forth. Then almost so Baba Shuddha Sarva Dhamma so Baba Shuddha. You say these things? Or Om Shunya Dhyana, that means dissolve into emptiness. You see. And from within emptiness manifests lotus flower. On the lotus flower, sun disk, moon disk. Now first you see from within emptiness, lotus flower. On the lotus flower, sun disk, moon disk. And then seed level of those turn around, light radiate, come back and transform into deity yourself or in the front. So this is the way how to follow the Dharma into the path. So, okay? And dispelling the confusion from the path. It's very important this way. So that's what is mentioned here. The generation and completion stage. These all arise in relationship with each other. They're connected, it's interdependent, interconnected. Patita Bhata, Samudra Bhata, say interdependent connection, interdependent, connected. Everything is interdependent. Nothing is independent. Just to make a cup of tea, how much is dependent? You need water. You need stove. To have the stove, now there's need electricity. How much you need to make the electricity? You imagine all these things. And then you need the water, tea, or then say cream, all what you need. And also you need to know how to make the tea. If you don't know how to make the tea, you cannot get a cup of tea. So just to make a cup of tea, how much is needed? Interdependent, interconnected. That's what it's called illusion. The cup of the tea is nothing but illusion. And then you drink it, where it's gone? Oh, just display of the illusory nature. When the aeroplane takes off the ground, how many things to need to aeroplane to function? See, there's no one solid, independent thing, isn't it? See, how many things needed to play that. One time I flew from Chicago to New Delhi. There was one Indian man. So then in the airplane, we had some discussions. Discussion about the Atma. And he said, how you can say there's no Atma? Then I just gave example. I said, we're in the airplane. I said, the airplane is flying. I said, no, see, is there something independent the airplane can fly? Everything is interdependent. Patita Samudra Bhata, And he said, oh yes, I like Buddhist philosophy. He said, so like everything's illusory nature, you see, it's reality. It's not a Buddhist belief. It's not just a Buddhist philosophy. It's the philosophy of the whole universe functions. This we have to understand that. Then you feel very kind of comfortable with that. But Buddha gave this wisdom because Buddha realized that, taught us this. But it's universal. So Buddha's wisdom is universal, not something very narrow-minded. So we should open up and reflect, and then exercise, get help for ourselves, and then help others. This is just all this what we are studying practices, nothing but to get benefit. I'm not brainwashing you, you know? Okay. Just try to, you know, making effort to delete all our adventitious defilements, you know, to uncover all this, the cause of the suffering, and then eliminate our effulgence, the effulgent mind. Effulgent mind is the total nature. It's called unconfined vastness of the space. That all manifests from emptiness and dissolve into emptiness. So manifest, such as emptiness cannot transcend virtue, non-virtue. All the causality plays distinctively within in the emptiness. It's so precious, it's so amazing. And Buddha's mind has captured all this without mistake, see? So that you see, each other. Thus, the definite cause of the attainment of the perfect Buddha is mind of enlightenment, and it is to be developed by way of the four aspects, means now the four conditions that we develop this mind. You know? In the fundamental wisdom, Acharya Nagarjuna says the conditions are of four aspects: causal condition, objective condition, immediate condition, and the dominant conditions. These, there are, as in, these we should mean, there is no fifth conditions. So all are included into the four conditions. You see, the causal condition is to have an affectionate thought towards sentient beings from the beginning. So the cause is our Buddha nature. We have right from the beginning. As yesterday mentioned, everyone has the Buddha nature. Like there's oil in the sesame seed, or in the sesame seed. It's oil. No. If you ask where that oil is come into being in the sesame seed, as soon as there's a sesame seed, there's oil. It's called co-emergent. Okay, just there. From the beginning, and therefore we should have affection even towards hawks and birds. So therefore, we should have all our loving kindness to every sentient beings, to our enemies, to those who are unfriendly. The dominant conditions said is to receive the instruction of the mind of enlightenment from a master endowed with bodhicitta and whose possessed the thought of the cherishing others more than self. See, that's the dominant condition. It means we need such a great master who has bodhicitta, who has a skill to explain what bodhicitta is about, how to practice, That's the dominant condition. Moreover, in the 20 vows of the bodhicitta, it is said, one should receive them from a master who is skilled, able to perform the ceremony and abided in the vows, who have kept the vow. It's not so easy, to keep the vow. To take the vow, easy. Now to keep the vow is difficult. So you take it, then you keep it, then you practice it, and then you perfect it. See, so that's kind of master, called authentic great masters that we need. So then that's this. Third, the objective condition is to have a constant thought of achieving unsurpassable enlightenment, and that all sentient beings should be possessed of happiness and free from suffering. The sentient beings, the object, as yesterday I mentioned. To develop loving kindness, we need sentient beings. Without sentient beings, we cannot develop compassion, loving kindness. You cannot say, I have the compassion to this piece of rock. We need sentient beings as object. There's the objective, the object. To practice generosity, we need sentient beings. You can't give something to the piece of rock. So you say, oh, this is so pity, this rock, I give this to the rock, So this rock is suffering, See? So sentient beings are indispensable of our Dharma practice. Especially these enemies, you practice patience. You bear the consequences. The enemy deliberately hurts you, makes you miserable. And there, if we have enough courage, no fearless, no fear, I should say, and practice the patience. And then, not only just patience, and feeling of grateful. The enemy hurts me, takes advantage of me. I must have done this in my life, in other lifetimes. Now I'm paying off all the debts. I'm so grateful. He or she is helping me to develop my bodhicitta. Try to tear my ego. Try to destroy my attachment. I'm so grateful. Thank you so much. It's easy to say, Not so easy to practice, isn't it? But this is how we have to practice. I'm talking these looks, but it comes to in my mind. Say, no, I cannot accept this. But this we have to practice. That's how Milarepa did it. And in Buddha's life, you see, Would they practice this so much? You know, the Lojong, the mind training, I'm sure you have read this book, you know, mind training, Lojong, no, it's about. As you see, when these things happen, I'm so grateful. Thank you so much. You gave me all the opportunity to tear my ego, to destroy my attachment. You gave me the best opportunity. You know, the 37 Bodhisattvas practice, you have studied them, you have read them. The writer of that, Muju Tome, no, Tome Sambo, Muju Tome Sambo. He has that kind of practice there. After all his studies, he was a great scholar. He studied until he 46, you know. Then he went to retreat for many years. So after that, he became very well-known great masters. Then many monasteries, they tried to invite him to receive teachings on this, that. So because of that, then he got a lot of offerings. And with his attendants, and that time they don't have cars, okay? They have horses. All those offerings loaded on the horse, and then they made a journey. And then I said, no, it's okay. It's okay. Thank you. I have here. It's okay. No. This is perfect. Thank you. So they arrived in very isolated, desolated place. There's nobody, no houses, no nothing, no people there. And then he and his attendant, few monks with him, and there are quite few horses with full of these offerings, and a group of bandits came, So now they're starting this, will rough all your belongings. And his attendants started fighting with this bandit, They started fighting each other. And then Mujitome, he said, wait a minute. He just, please take rest, please take it easy. And he took all those offerings piled on the ground. And then he was giving teaching, He told this, those robbers, bandits, Now, here's where we have a deal, okay? I will make the deal. This all here, I will give you as offering. Okay. You should not think that we have robbed this from this person. Instead, he has given us this freely. And we will also give them to you freely. And then let us dedicate, he said. Let us dedicate by this practice, all the virtue we have met, everyone free from samsara, achieve enlightenment. And please take them freely. Okay. And he told all his attendants, don't get upset. You'll get food. Don't worry, I will try. He said, you'll get enough food. No, don't worry. But this we offer, we make offering to this. So then there's two roads. If they take one road, and that road is now going to the place, the village, they will arrive the village who made all these offerings. And they said, if you take this road, it's not safe. And the people there will recognize all these things given to me. So don't go this road, but you go to this road and nobody knows, you know. So that is how he did the practice. And he was so appreciative because I attached to these all offerings. There's a lot of wealth there. No. Now they took this all from me. So I'm so grateful. I'm so appreciative. So that's, you see, practice done that. So at the end, he got more offerings, you know, instead of lost, you know. And the word of mouth went everywhere. And then he's a great master. Let's go and make offerings to him, you know. So like these things, you see, yes, practice of the training of the mind. See, it's not easy, but we can do it. So these, we have to understand everything's illusory nature. Everything's just manifestation. Everything's just reflection of the mind. Oh, this, you see. So this we have to train, you know, to dispel the confusion. See, as yesterday I mentioned, the mind is most powerful. Just I want to just make more understanding. See how the mind progresses. First, you know, before we study practice Dharma. It's me. It's my body. I attach to this. I'm holding, grasping. Oh, this is my body. I'm young. I'm beautiful. I'm silent. All these things, you know. Then you study Dharma. So understand these all teachings. You get the wisdoms. Now these are just nothing but aggregates. A lot of things come together, put together. No, it's not a silent thing. Then you see, you change your perception. See, how mind changes, you see, it's the mind. Then you see slowly, you are introduced Vajrayana, Tantra practice. See, you become Tara, you become generosity. Then your ordinary body disappear. See, it's the mind, see. And through the Vajrayana practices, you take yoga practices, mention the completion stage. You dissolve all into emptiness. It's the mind, see. So how the mind is powerful. So this, you see, this is this body. When in the wrong place, how it becomes the center of the suffering. All the suffering surrounds this body. Now, when your wisdom transforms into enlightened state, this body becomes the center of all the peace and happiness. And you become the embodiment of compassion, embodiment of the loving kindness, embodiment of the bodhicitta, a source of all the peace and happiness. You see. Okay, so that's kind of, we just did we did this objective. So we the causal foundation, dominant condition, and objective condition. Okay. When you think you cannot generate such a mind enlightenment, you will generate it through familiarizing yourself with it again and again. So this you have to practice again and again, you know. As this yesterday, this morning we did the short Guru Yoga. So you do this imitate, you know, every day. If you don't have other practices, you know, if you have other practices, you should go there. But when you don't have other practices, you do this Guru Yoga, short Guru Yoga every day, you know, get familiarized, meditate, receive all the blessings, purify, then at the end all dissolve into emptiness, you know. Or first, when you receive the first empowerment, the base empowerment, when you receive that, you develop yourself into the deity. Whatever deity you practice, Grintara, Cheresic, you know, whatever you're practicing, you develop into that. And then you receive the second, third initiation, the fourth initiation. Then Dharma Lord Gampopa dissolve into you and totally purified all obscurations. You dissolve into emptiness. Do this practice repeatedly, and you will find the benefit, no doubt. No. See. So this is the condition, see, the dominant condition. That's called a dominant result. You know the dominant result? If you study, so these all now, just I want to remind before I forget, you know, these 6 parameters you can study from Jewel Ornament of Liberation. In the Jewel Ornament of Liberation, these six perfections are explained so beautifully. Not too much, but not too little. But all things are just now there. So you read them, you put it to practice, you know, so wonderfully organized. So Gampopa, you see, look at all the quotations in the Jewel Ornament of Liberation, those who have read, quotations from every Buddha Sutras, and great master like Nagarjuna, Shantidevas, all the beautiful quotations are put together. And if you study that book enough, you can say, now I know Buddhist teaching. That because this teaching, if you have heard of Kunuru, I received this teaching from Kunuru for 2 months now. So he said that. If you have studied many other texts, he said, wonderful, sutras, all this, you know. But if you have not studied many, but if you study Jewel Ornament of Liberation, it counts that you have studied the sutra system of the Buddha. Because you see all the beautiful quotations. You know. Okay. Then what's he said, objective, we just finished. Akwa Ashakya Ashamadis says, if a mere, this I think I read, if a mere benevolent thought is superior than offering to Buddha, say, Buddha, then one what need to remember who works for the sake of limitless sentient beings. You see, practicing loving kindness is greater offering to Buddha than anything else. You make, you see, like the butter lamp, incense, millions of butter lamp. millions of the incense you make offering to Buddha. Okay, nothing's wrong with that. But if you practice loving kindness in one session, there's a much more effective than all those offerings. Buddha will more pleased. Buddha will be more happy if you practice one session of the loving kindness meditation. Because Buddha's concern, as mentioned, the suffering of sentient beings. And if you practice loving kindness in one session, you sit there, go to the park, people running here and there, you sit there in the chair. Oh, this everybody, they want to be happy. I wish everyone is happy. Oh. And that would give a Buddha such a great relief. I feel so happy. Because that's the direct path towards the enlightenment. So make sure those are mentioned in the sutra. I'm not just making it up, I don't remember enough to say, but I'm saying those which I remember, few things. Even though you have no ability to work for others, you should have that continuous thought. Whoever has that thought will become familiar with it. Means like loving kindness, compassion. You just familiarize, meditate on repeatedly, get used to it. First, sometimes maybe it's not possible, but you just go forward. Everything is impermanent. Everything is possible. Nothing is not possible. Everything is possible. When you think that you cannot generate such a mind of enlightenment, you will generate it through, familiarizing yourself with it. With what's that? What tea? I think with it, okay. With it again and again, you see. First, it feels like overwhelming. How is possible? Limitless session beings to liberate session beings. It is impossible, I'm here such weak, Even I cannot help myself. How can I help all session beings? It's impossible. You may feel that, but don't feel that. Everything is possible. I can do it. It did it in the past. There's some very poor practitioner made it in the history. Why not me? I have Buddha nature. You see, like everyone else, I have the Buddha nature. I have the precious human life. I have the Dharma. Why not? You see, build the courage, confidence. And they feel grateful Buddha who taught us this. In the Wisdom Sutra says it is, water dripping into a pot from beginning to end will fill it. A big pot and just very few drops of water coming. How much it can fill that big pot, few drops. But when time goes, whole pot will fill the water. So step by step, little by little, you can make it. How much time we are doing now? You need a short break? Okay. I think we need short break. Om Baza Sato Samaya, Mano Palaya, Badra Sato Denoba, Disjan Deto Membawa, Sudu Kayo Membawa, Subu Kayo Mem, Anorado Membawa, Sarwa Sidi Membrayata, Sarwa Karma Suza Me, Chetan Shriya Guru Hum, Ha 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 Ho Baga, Sarwa Dada Gada, Badra Mame Munza, Barzembawa, Samaya Sato Chanjo, Senjo, Rembo, Maji, Banam, Jejuru, Jeba, Nyamba, Meba, Yang, Kone, Kon, Pewa, Sho. I see. Jimdin. Jimdin, we have a center in Boston, started early 80s. He is the one of the founder of the center. Now he moved to Montana. Now I saw once before. Now today I see from Montana he's here. And Mark Steiner is one of our members. He started a center in Walter. I see here, he and his wife, Emilia. So thank you so much, everybody. Make a short break, okay?
Amatakraso yarandu zarwandu ranza ranza du mamandu beswa Om Amatakraso yarandu zarwandu ranza ranza du mamandu beswa Om Amatakraso yarandu Ranza ranza du mamandu beswa Om mama takraso wa yarandu zarwandu Ranza ranza du mamandu beswa Om mama takraso wa yarandu zarwandu Ranza ranza du mamandu Om mama zagraso va yarandu zarvandu ranza ranza du mamandu beswa Om mama zagraso va yarandu zarvandu ranza ranza du mamandu beswa Om mama zagraso yarandu zagraso yarandu zarwandu ranzaranzandu mamandu bezo mama zagaso yarandu zarwandu ranzaranzandu mamandu bezo mama zagaso yarandu zarwandu ranzaranzandu mamandu bezo mama zagraso 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 yarandu zarwandu ranzaranzandu mamandu bezo mama zagaso yarandu zarwandu ranzaranzandu mamandu bezo mama zagaso yarandu zarwandu ranzaranzandu mamandu bezo mama zagraso 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 yarandu zarwandu ranzaranzandu randarandandu mamandu beswa. Om mama sakra so vayarandu sarvandu randarandandu mamandu beswa. Om mama sakra so vayarandu sarvandu randarandandu mamandu beswa. Om mama sakra so vayarandu sarvandu randarandandu mamandu beswa. Om mama sakra so vayarandu sarvandu randarandandu mamandu beswa. Om mama sakra so vayarandu sarvandu randarandandu mamandu beswa. Om mama sakra so vayarandu sarvandu randarandandu mamandu beswa. Om mama sakra so vayarandu sarvandu randarandandu mamandu beswa. Om mama sakra so vayarandu sarvandu randarandandu mamandu beswa. Om mama sakra so vayarandu sarvandu randarandandu mamandu beswa. Om mama sakra so vayarandu sarvandu randarandandu mamandu beswa. Om mama sakra so vayarandu sarvandu randarandandu mamandu beswa. Om mama sakra so vayarandu sarvandu randarandandu mamandu beswa. Om mama sakra so vayarandu sarvandu randarandandu mamandu beswa. Om mama sakra so vayarandu sarvandu randarandandu mamandu beswa. Om mama sakra so vayarandu sarvandu randarandandu mamandu beswa. Om mama sakra so vayarandu sarvandu randarandandu mamandu beswa. Om mama sakra so vayarandu sarvandu randarandandu mamandu beswa. Om mama sakra so vayarandu sarvandu randarandandu mamandu beswa. Om mama sakra so vayarandu sarvandu randarandandu mamandu beswa. Om mama sakra so vayarandu
So the host like to be unmoved. It was mooted, so that's unmoved. Okay, shall we continue? Om Daso Sato Samaya Manopalaya Patra Sadu Denopa Dishna Dedu Mebawa Subu Kayo Membawa Anorado Mebawa Sarva Siddhi Mebraya Bhagavan Sarva Tata Tata Patra Mame Barzimbawa Ma Samaya Sadu. I was reading this four condition, so we have finished three. The causal condition, the dominant condition, and the objective conditions. Now the fourth one, sorry. We'll read this. Likewise, with the first mind, this is page 17. Likewise, with the first mind of enlightenment, and first you cultivated the mind to achieve enlightenment, that mind, you cannot achieve the peace of enlightenment. So that moment, as soon as you cultivated that mind, you are not Buddha yet. No? So you will not achieve the Buddha. But without it, you also cannot reach enlightenment. First, if you don't cultivate the mind, even though you are not Buddha, but without that mind, you cannot achieve the Buddha. So that means you go step by step. You see, no? First you cultivate, then exercise, train yourself. Doesn't matter, it takes time. Many lifetimes, 100 lifetimes, thousands lifetimes, doesn't matter. But you are on the track. No? So she said, so the immediate condition is to develop in your mind the thought of cherishing others more than yourself. That's the immediate condition. As soon as you cultivate bodhicitta, I will establish all sentient beings with the Buddhahood. Means you are one person. Sentient beings are countless. So therefore, naturally it becomes sentient beings are more important to yourself. As soon as you cultivate that mind, then you achieve the bodhicitta, you actualize the bodhicitta, and that's the immediate condition. And as soon as you cultivate that mind, you become the bodhisattva. So here we have some quotations by Shantideva. I just said Shantideva says, if wretched beings trapped into the prison of psychic existence, such person who is full of mental afflictions, confusions there, but see, such kind of person, where to generate bodhicitta, if that kind of person generate bodhicitta, I will attain Buddhahood for the benefit of all sentient beings. Generate bodhicitta. Instantaneously, they are called the children of the Buddhas. They are called Bodhisattva. Not enlightened Bodhisattva, but as soon as you cultivated bodhicitta, they become Bodhisattva. Okay. And the whole gods and women will bow down to them. All the sentient beings and the hell realm, holy ghosts, animals, of course. Not only that, even the gods, human beings will bow down to that Bodhisattva. Again, in a guide into the Bodhisattva's way of life, Acharya Shantideva says, like this supreme alchemical transformation, is alchemy, alchemy that so many metals transform into gold. Like that, this impure body that we have now will become the precious and priceless body of the conquerors, will become a Bodhisattva body, and hold the family then to the bodhicitta. See, you see a great teacher, Bodhisattva teacher, they come. And you have seen people go down there and their hand put on that ground with the head, isn't it? Why? Where's the body? What's the difference? Because of bodhicitta. So one has the bodhicitta, becomes a bodhisattva, and the subject of respect of all. So that bodhicitta transforms the individual. And everybody has that opportunity to transform yourself if you cultivate bodhicitta. See, this is our ordinary samsaric body, and as mentioned earlier, a basis of all the suffering that can become turned around and source of peace and happiness. See, so that mind is so precious. It's about, see, so this immediate condition. As soon as you cultivate bodhicitta, you become the bodhisattva. What a precious mind. I think these are so amazing. It's a great master such as this is coming. All people draw, hundreds of people come together, draw, receive blessings. The body is the same body, but because the bodhicitta, whole being transformed into enlightened state, enlightened nature. See, so we get this, we should all inspire. I have that also opportunity. Why not I should cultivate this mind? Why not I should exercise this mind myself? See. Thus, when the thought of the cherishing for others is generated in your mind, it is called the immediate conditions. Thus, the mere intention of equalizing self and others, or cherishing others more than yourself, exchanging self and others' purpose becomes one's own. And that Siddhi Santideva says, first we see equal, I and all are equal, no difference. Then you practice that, then others are more important. Practice that. Then you exchange others, and we said this in the West, we say, you know how to wear the other shoes, so that you exchange other and yourself. So these practices so done in this, so it's a source of peace and happiness. We just deleting the ego, the egoistic the diluted ego. So ego should use the two types of ego: enlightened ego and unenlightened ego. The unenlightened ego, the samsaric ego, me, very sensitive, very fragile. The enlightened egos, bodhisattvas, I will benefit all sentient beings. So I is there, transformed. I will benefit all sentient beings. I will become service of everyone. I will make things better for peace and happiness. So we notice how this practice is about, see. Hence, in order to dispel the mistaken path, it is said that one needs to renounce the hearer and the solitary realizer by contemplating love, compassion, and the mind of enlightenment. The great Atisha called this the stages of the path of the person of the great mental scope, means who has a great ability to benefit all sentient beings. So this is how it was, how to dispel confusion from the path. We just know next, as I mentioned briefly, all this. Now next we follow. See, then next is that mistaken arising as wisdom is to renounce apprehending phenomena and the characteristics by contemplating all phenomena as emptiness. Acharya Shabdadeva says, through integrating the imprint of emptiness, the imprint of the phenomena would be destroyed. So what is the mistaken? It is mental afflictions and conceptualizations. See, our mental afflictions and conceptualization, these are the mistake. These are the sub-cause of suffering. So these need to be transformed into emptiness. Says, no, this, when you meditate, as we have discussed about emptiness, we are not making emptiness. As mentioned, all our thoughts come from the emptiness and dissolve into emptiness. And they don't go anywhere out of emptiness, because the form is emptiness. Emptiness is a form. The mental afflictions are emptiness. The emptiness are mental affliction. Mental afflictions are no other than emptiness. Emptiness are no other than mental afflictions, you see. You should go that way. So, the consciousness is emptiness. Emptiness is the consciousness. The five skandha, form plus form is emptiness. Feeling is emptiness. Perception is emptiness. Formation is emptiness. Consciousness, emptiness, no? Consciousness, emptiness, and emptiness is consciousness. So you go this way, no? So all the five aggregates, you just put into that emptiness state. So all these five aggregates are within in the dimension of the emptiness. There's no other place to go. Nothing in the world, both in the samsara and nirvana, can go out of the emptiness. All are function within the emptiness, you see. So you just meditate on that. Even those people say, I don't accept emptiness, but you are the emptiness. You see? You have no choice. So, you better accept it, because you suffer more. So those practice this car now, we have to understand these things. Without understanding this, it's difficult. As my thoughts, as mentioned, manifest from emptiness. It is inseparable from emptiness, but I don't realize I'm grasping on it. And then more successful, because its nature is emptiness, it's not successful. Grasping is disappear anywhere, then it's very painful. See, like we make the road so concrete, road, you made such a stable, put all the metals, concrete, so like cannot destroy for centuries. But after a few years, it crumbles. Because its nature is, first of all, is impermanent. So we cannot make impermanent as a permanent. There's no way you can make impermanent into permanent. If it's possible, I'm sure someone will try. So that which is emptiness, we cannot make is not emptiness. It functions within the emptiness. So we have to accept it. We have to know. We have to follow with that. So when we follow with that, we get more benefit. Then we come to know more. We practice more. We familiarize on that, and we get all the benefit. If you fight with the emptiness, try to make something concrete, substantial, we will fail and we suffer so much. So here is we follow according to the real how everything functions within the emptiness. And we just meditate on this. That's called meditation. Meditation means not something close your eyes there, It's to familiarize to what reality nature we are. So Sambuddha Nama, my Tantra, it is said, Mahatantra is said, conceptualization is a great ignorance by which one falls into the ocean of samsara. See? So samsara is the conceptualization. It means duality, the dualistic mind, samsara, nirvana, good and bad, I and you. Making its own duality. This samsara is a confused mind. Abiding in the meditative concentration of non-conceptualization is like the sky. Here will be no doors. The great Brahmin Sarha said, when the mind enters the water and disturbs it, also not mind, wind. When the wind enters the water and disturbs it, even the gentle water moves like a storm. When the formless ignorance is disturbed by the conceptualization, it becomes very solid and hard. Generally, the reality of mind is that it has no self from the beginning. This is now you look at, say, these mountains, like say Himalaya mountains, Mount Everest, all those, where they are coming from. They come from the ocean. First is just only ocean. Then the ocean is disturbed by the wind, shaked, and bubbles. After many eons and eons, then this all become this mountain. So our ignorant conceptualization, the mind, we made this all like a concrete. I see concrete. The rock is concrete. This house is concrete. See? Now through the wisdom meditation practice, these are not as you perceive concrete. These are just illusory nature, just a manifestation. So it's all just dust particle. And nothing but just dust particle. And that very dust particle nature is nothing but empty. When you realize that step by step, and you can see, you realize. In that, you can read Milarepa's life story. A very true logician at that time came to Milarepa. Now, Milarepa was very, outwardly looks very stupid, wearing very ragged clothes, unclean, cotton cloth. And this is, his hair is unclean, all this. And then people are following him. Then those logicians, they thought this is disgrace to Buddhists. He knows nothing, Still he behaves like a great teacher. We have to debate with him. And then destroy that kind of system. He's deluding all the people. And they went to debate with him. And they said, the long story, if you read his life story, you can find 100,000 songs. You will find there. But they came, and there are two of them. They came, and they said, we brought the logic text to how to debate. On the basis of this text, we need to discuss things. And Milarepa said, I don't have to debate. I have finished my debate. Who knows who's finished, who's not finished? Let us debate. We have to look at the validities, the valid system of this. And Milarepa said, I have a valid renunciation, and I met a valid teacher, and I received valid teachings, and I practiced in the mountain with the validity, and I experienced all these valid realizations. Now I've finished all my debate. Please go. He said. Still they insist. Then Milarepa said, if you really want to debate, what do you think of this space? Is empty or not empty? Which we all know. And they said, why are you asking these questions? Everyone knows this space is empty. And he meditated, Vajra-like meditation called, Vajra-like indestructible state of the mind. And then he just sit on the space with a cross leg. Then he said, now you move. And they cannot move at all. into space, could not move. And then Milarepa released that meditation. Now what do you think? And they said, this is a magic, black magic, you know. You are spelling black magic. Everybody knows space is empty. So Milarepa said, now today you made a lie to all sentient beings. You perceive the space as something concrete, which is space, empty. Then Milarepa said he's sitting in the cave, you know, just rock, nothing but the rock. Then he said, what do you think about this, the cave, the rocky cave? Is empty or solid? He said, why are you asking such a strange question, you know? But then the other one was a little wondering. This is something is going on, you know? Said, can you demonstrate this rock as empty? And then Milarepa meditated, space-like meditation. Everything is nothing but empty. Then he went through the rocks back and forth. And he lifted a big piece of rock, throw on them, and nothing is touched them. You know? See? So then he released this meditation. Now what do you think? So this is what you see. Milarepa meditated his whole life. This exercise his mind. So for us, the rocky mountains are so solid, you know. If you, punch, it will hurt your fist. Suffering. So this is what it does. When the time goes, the rocky mountains are just coming from the water. And at the end, it dissolves into all the water. Now, first, there's only space, nothing but space. Then the wind just comes. The watcher-like wind cross, and then the wind hold the water from the cloud. From the cloud, rain, and make ocean. Then from the ocean, this came out of this mountain. And at the end, they all dissolved into the space. This is the Buddhist cosmologies, how this planet functions, appeared, dissolves. If you read the Uttara Tantra teaching, there is mentioned. So that's why I mentioned, I just mentioned the five skandha, In the wrong mind, this becomes the basis of suffering, samsara, center of the samsara. When you have wisdom, this transforms into enlightenment, basis of the enlightenment. The Buddhahood is here. See, there's no place other you can find Buddha. Buddha is within you. That's what's called the confusion is dawning into wisdom. You see, make sense? So that's how important, how to end the suffering. It's not something, magic show or it's something, this, that, It's just Buddha has realized this and taught these teachings. This is what we're seeking for. So precious thing. So here is that in the where Samaja, one of the very famous Tantra, that's that the king of the Tantras, it is said, all things are devoid of the inherent existence. Everything is just a manifestation. There's no inherent existence. Just come and go like a cloud. And then says our aggregates emission, the 5 aggregates, and the 18 elements, dhatu, and sources, the source of perception, the 12 ayatanas, apprehended and apprehenders are abandoned. So there's all just dissolve. There's nothing to apprehend. There's nothing to grasp. There's nothing to hold. When you practice the Mahamudra in this way, in our confused mind, we're holding this, apprehending this, grasping on this, and we suffer from there. So in our whole life, we just washed. Every day we take shower, wash, clean, wash, clean. There's one day, now we're cleaned. So look at this. There was so much suffering from this. So when we realize these things, there's nothing to wash. Nothing to hold. We just need to release our grasping, the afflictions. The no, you see, the no self of the phenomenon is sameness. See, everything's the no self. We have this communication. This is a table, this is a bell, this gong, the bell, flower, all this. We have those. Each individuals we communicate. There's a level. But each of them has no self. It's just created. Just a manifestation of our idea. They all can dissolve into emptiness. So emptiness of this gong, emptiness of the bell, emptiness of the table, emptiness of this flower, there's no difference. There's no one emptiness is better than others. Emptiness of the samsara, emptiness of nirvana, no difference. Yet, within emptiness, all the manifestations do we distinct. We make so many different things. Then we I like this, I don't like this, this is what I want, this I don't want, and all this. So we are so diluted within that emptiness without realizing how things are functioning. From there, because of this, we need loving kindness, compassion, bodhicitta to all the sentient beings of the samsara who are suffering so much in that. They create so much suffering to others, and they themselves suffer so much. You see, then that becomes for us becomes such a great method to disillusion ourselves, to see things real, the real how they function, uncontrived, unfabricated. Otherwise, this all are fake, artificial. All the mental afflictions are chemical. They are called poison. So all mental afflictions are chemical. It's a poison that gives you all the suffering. See. Now you understand, see, the poison. When you understand the poison is within me, in this way, using this sense of some wisdom, then so I can stand. The poison is staying still in my heart. Why deliberately I'm making my own mistake, my own suffering. See. This is how to now sit there, confusion, dawn into the wisdom. Means we're not making this something else, but we just try to understand how that is, real nature of that is in the uncontrived state. See. So you see, I said, one's mind's unborn from the beginning. It's unborn right from the beginning. It's unborn. See, unborn means there's all mental conceptual thoughts, all this what we have. The nature is empty. Born at the same time, unborn. See, so it is the nature of the emptiness, you see. So this quotation is very important quotation, you know. You should memorize this, repeat yourself, meditate on this. You will get such a great benefit from this. Actually, this quotation is the essence of the Guya Samaja Sutra, Tantra, you know. So says, thus no self is mistaken as a self, you see, by ignorance. And thereby is mistaken to self and others. Extra. From that is accumulated the various kinds of karma and cycling through the three realms, you see them, wandering as the 6 types of being. This is the suffering. Then we created the 6, there's now this 3 realms of the in Sanskrit it's called the Kama Dhatu, Rup Dhatu, Arup Dhatu. In translations, the desire world, the form world, the formless world is created by our mind. Nobody is created by outside. And we have the every responsibility to undo this confusion. So, right on this. When anger pops in your mind, you see, so demanding, you have to destroy that your enemy. No. It's just raging in your mind, in your heart. Your heart is beating, you become restless. At that moment, just look at your anger. That person is just a condition. He used to be my best friend. Now he's making this problem, and this anger is in my head. This is just a condition. Just reflect, just step, just stop for a few moments, reflect yourself. As a Dharma practitioner, that person, he wants peace and happiness. But through this condition, this happened. Now I am so raised, this anger in my heart. And it gives me pain in my heart. I'm suffering from this. I want to say something. I want to do something. And then when that happens, look at that anger. Where your anger is about. Anger is with that person or with me. If it is with you, where? In your head, in your heart. Where in the heart? Just examine. It's just manifestation. When you look at that, you cannot find something solid there. And it's vanished. But still we are grasping because it's happened. Grasping, holding it unsuccessfully. Still continue this. You are just reflect to this. Then you develop compassion, loving kindness to that person. As I desire peace and happiness, that person desires same. As I wish to free from suffering, that person also wish to free from suffering. And meditate, reflect on this. Before you express, before doing anything. And if you are this successful practice, then that replaced by great joy. Oh, I've done something very good. It's called the confusion is dawning into wisdom. Peace, happiness. All the mental afflictions that we have, we can do it this way, can handle this way. But as first you do this practice, all the beginning as mentioned, the last few days that I was explaining, this all are crucial. Now, first renunciation, impermanence, suffering of substance. These are so important to know. As a prerequisite. Without this practice, you cannot. No, you cannot apply this practice now. If it is possible, why not? Gampopa just said the fourth one. So we don't need all the first three, We don't need first three dharmas. Let us say the confusion don't need wisdom. Let's go ahead with that. Even he put all into the only 4 lines, but first, very important to go. And then after that follows the second, third, and fourth, you see. That's how it makes the Dharma so precious in the world. So Gampopa has that kind of great skill. And in the commentary written by Lord Gyaltsen, so precious. He's very skillfully, from his wisdom, he realized this. From that wisdom, which Gampopa said, he fully realized that. And from that, he just teaching, giving these teachings. So that's why we supplicate to Gampopa, receive this empowerment. And may I realize the four Dharmas of Gampopa, what you taught. I'm practicing your Guru Yoga. Give us enough blessing, enough courage, enough ability. I saw that I can digest these precious teachings. I think the world will be much better. Oh, as it is said by Acharya Arya Nagarjuna, if there's a self, others are apprehended. When there's self, I, the others is there. Okay. From self and others comes desire and aversion. That means I attach to myself. I have attachment. And then the others who are against that, I have aversion. So first you say, if there's a self, then others are apprehended, means ignorance. That's the ignorance. Without self, but grasping the self. When there's a self grasping I, attachment, then others aversion. Okay. From these two, then falls rise. I, attachment, others from aversion, then all falls, all the confusion manifests, creating all the karmas. Okay. Rise. The root of all falls is the view of transitory collection. So this transitory collection of this we're holding as grasping one concrete. Abrogate means this condensed perfection of Wisdom Sutra. It is said, all beings are attached to the quicks. What is this? To the quicks and quicksand, quick of name and form. Anyway, saying all beings attached to the name and form. Living beings wander in the wheel of cyclic existence like the wheel of the wind. Wind just like tornado. Diluted beings are like a deer trapped in a net. Knowing this, the wise move like birds through the sky. Those who we are grasping self, the deer is trapped in the net, and we are trapped into our ego, our net, the net of the ego. You know, cocoon. The cocoon, from that we make the silk. So the silk worm is in the cocoon. From that they make the silk. So the silk, they produce, they kill a lot of the bugs in there. So anyhow, the cocoons are, they're trapped in the cocoon. From their saliva, they made this silk and they're trapped, nowhere to move. So we are in the cocoon of the self, trapped in that, and we have no space to move around. We suffer. This is what to say here. So do you see all these transitory natures without realizing we're grasping as real. So it is called the root of all thoughts. See, the view of transitory functions. The abbreviated profession of Wisdom Sutra says, all beings are attached to I read this, sorry. As long as there is the apprehension of the aggregates, so far, for so long, there is apprehension of it, I think. With the apprehension of it, I, or I is also I. It looks like a T. Apprehension of I, self. With the apprehension of the I, there will be karma. And from that comes the births. So when there's a, basically we're saying, when there's 5 aggregates we have, and when there's I, grasping to self, I, then from that, see the grasping, we create the karma. When we have the karma, then there will be rebirth. So that continues. The chain of the samsara. So disconnect this continuation or the manner, this manner, continuation of the manner to discontinue, we have to do wisdom. So first is no, understand through the wisdom, there's no I, self. When you realize there's no I or self, then this all the desire, afflictions cease to exist. When these mental afflictions cease to exist, there's no way to create the karma. When the karma is there, not there, when the karma is not there, there's nothing to rebirth. So, continuation of the samsara and disconnect the karma or disconnect the samsara. So this is what is here. So the very nature of this confusion itself is nothing but wisdom when you realize. So let's measure I. In the samsara, I is the basis of the ignorance. And from there rise all the mental afflictions. And all the cause of samsaras manifest from that. And through the wisdom, you see, instead of I grasping as I, self-grasping, so I will benefit all sentient beings. There's no clinging I, grasping I. No. I cultivate loving kindness. I cultivate compassion, bodhicitta, and I practice the 6 perfections, and I'll be helpful to all the sentient beings, as we have in this dedication. No, may I be useful to all the sentient beings through my body, speech, and mind. The I is there, but I mean the notion, I say, the notion of the I is there. But through the ignorance, it becomes the cause of all the suffering. Through the wisdom, it becomes the cause of all the peace and happiness. So how it transformed, you know. Because of that, the nature of the samsara is nothing but nirvana. There's nothing to give up, nothing to get rid of it, because itself is nothing but wisdom. Okay, I think I have abbreviated. There's quite a few pages to read. So you can exercise. So I'm so good now. I'm so happy. I don't have to read all this because I may not have the wisdom to explain all of this, you know. But what I said, these things is very sincere. Okay, I tried my best to release confusion instead of making you confused. No, okay. From my small contribution, so Buddha's teaching is so precious. Okay, so please study this, practice this, and contribute to yourself, to many others, so that Dharma can stay in the world to help, not just as a Buddhism, not just as like a center, a culture center. What you call is something that the Buddha's wisdom can contribute in the world for peace and happiness. So far, until now, so everywhere now, generally during this all different turmoils, these radicals, a lot of things happen, you know. So Buddhists in the world made a very good impression. Everywhere they think Buddha's teaching is peaceful, is compassionate. Nobody now sees some Buddhists, they are so radical, they are extreme, you know, rather peaceful, wonderful. Like especially like when I come to the airport, go to the immigration police, they ask, we discuss, so they say, thank you so much, you know. They join their hand, you know. Thank you. So I feel so good about this. Everywhere it has that kind of impression, you know. So we should feel good about this and do better, bring more benefit, more peace in the world. Everywhere we need this Buddha's wisdom, compassion, practice, not just as a religion, but as mentioned, universal. This you have heard of Konchok, not Jikta Sungun. Konchok, this is the direct interpretation of the Jikta Sungun's Konchok about the Buddha's teaching. Buddha's teaching is not just a religion. He said this is how the reality nature of the whole universe. Everything functions within the causality. And Buddha is the embodiment of the Buddha is the embodiment of the bodhicitta. The bodhicitta of relative and absolute. Mahamudra and bodhicitta. Inseparable. So from that state, Buddha taught all those teachings. So we should have that kind of understanding, awareness, and then follow the path. Thank you so much, everybody, for your own participation. I'm very grateful. If I made any mistakes, now please excuse me. And I apologize about that. If you got some benefit, please carry on. And first, before anything, we maybe say this dedication prayer. Before the dedication prayer, we first relax our body and mind. Just relax and refresh your mind and reflect these last 2 days. No, it's now past, it's so impermanent, But these 2 days, all the discussions that we have done, great Dharma Lord Gampopa's wisdom and his bodhicitta nature, all the Buddha's teaching put into 3 or 4 lines. And we, in this 21st century, life is so kind of rush. So we need these Dharma teachings more than ever before, and how he expressed his teachings. And then there are many, of course, translations of this teaching, and made many commentaries by great masters. But from last year's, that I got opportunity to teach this. So from Sweden, we have a Dharma group, Ranashir Meditation Center. They organized the transcribing these teachings and then edited it and made into a very good book. It's got the 4 Dharmas of Gampopa. So this will be published within a few years by Wisdom Publication. So we're looking forward to that book, and made few copies, and some people read that, and that those people they express that book is really substantially good, complete from the beginning to the end. So we are so fortunate to have this opportunity. Okay, so make effort to study, practice these precious Dharma teachings, and then at the time of death, we die. First, you see, when you are bodhicitta, loving kindness, compassion, and bodhicitta, we age, we get older with less suffering, less fear. See, with the dignity. And when we get sick, we have more opportunity to practice the Dharma, and more opportunity, and more, less suffering, less fear, less suffering. Suffering is there, but pain is less. See? Then, especially when you die with loving kindness, compassion, bodhicitta. It's the best way to die. Make the connection to rebirth in a special place. We should make the best connection. No need to chant so much mantra or these things. We just die with loving kindness, compassion, bodhicitta. That's the best power. You have heard of power. It's the power of the bodhicitta. Then with the fourth Dharma, dawning all the confusion into the wisdom, and you died everything as illusory nature. No grasping, no fixation, and the best power, best transition of your death. So contemplate on this. We have to prepare. Or everybody will die sooner or later. I'm not scaring you, but I'm just giving advice or suggestions how to do the best thing for us in a universal way. Otherwise, there are so many other informations, so much you can do this, that, but this is the way universal. And thank you so much. And we'll say this dedication prayers. Okay. Page 35 from your prayer booklet. Glorious, holy, venerable, precious, kind, rooted lineage Dharmas, divine assemblies of Yidams and assemblies of Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, yoginis, and dakinis, dwelling at the 10th division. Please hear my prayer. May the virtues collected in the 3 times by myself, all sentient beings in samsara and the main root of virtue, not reserved in 8 worldly concerns, or causes of the samsara, or rebirth as a Shamapata and particular Buddha. May all mother sentient beings, especially those enemies who hate me and mine, obstructors who harms, misleading Maras, and the hordes of demons, experience happiness, be separated from suffering, and simply attain unsurpassed, perfect, complete, and precious Buddhahood. By the power of this vast root of virtue, may I benefit all beings through my body, speech, and mind. May the afflictions of desire, hatred, ignorance, and arrogance and jealousy not arise in my mind. The attachment to pain, repetition, wealth, honor, and concern for this life. May my mind stream be moistened by loving kindness, compassion, and bodhicitta. And through that may I become a spiritual master with good qualities equal to the infinite of space. My gains supreme attain with Mahamudra in this very life. May the torment of suffering not arise even at the time of death. May I not die with the negative thoughts. May I not die with the May I not experience an untimely death. May I flee and happily in the great monastery among as such, creating a clarity of Dharma. May I in your case give the supreme attainment of Mahamudra. By the virtues collected in the 3 times by myself and all beings in samsara, and by the innate root of virtue, and I and all sentient beings quickly attain unsurpassed and great complete perfection. May the teachings of great Gampopa Shiri, whose omniscient Lord of Dharma, master of Indo-Tibetans, continue increase through the study, practice, contemplation, meditation. Thank you so much. You need this, Gary?
Go ahead and They're working? Okay,
Otherwise, you can use this.
they work better with this. Thank you. I wanted to take a little time here and humbly speak on behalf of the international community of the folks across the United States that are on Zoom. You know, I know that if they were able, they would certainly like to express their thanks for the priceless teachings that you provided us over the weekend. And so what we would like to do as well is to make an offering from the Zoom community. I believe David has that for us.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you for the teachings.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and Debbie, as Debbie was saying, this is really an international Sangha, and in recognition, you know, that, I mean, there's people all over the world right now, so it's quite late for a lot of people.
Yes, yes.
So what we'd like to do is just to move things along first before we do anything else. I want to make sure that, you know, we recognize the translators that have helped with Zoom and the Zoom team. It takes behind the scenes, there's actually a lot of work that goes on to make these things flow as well as they do. So many thanks to all those folks to help help use this tool to spread the Dharma throughout the world instantaneously. So yeah, but we want to go ahead and close the Zoom, or
Yes, the Zoom team will open it up, so students on Zoom can speak to Khenchen, and then
okay.
Close Zoom, and people have a chance to thank Khenchen very much for this. You're all able to unmute now if you want to say something.
Gracias, Rinpoche, gracias a los traductores.
Khenchen.
Muchas gracias.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Gracias, Rinpoche. Muchas gracias, traductores.
Thank you so much, Kenshin. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Khenchen.
Muito obrigada.
What a blessing. Thank you, Kempo.
Thank you, Khenchen. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rinpoche.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Khenchen.
Yes, yes, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
You everyone have a wonderful morning, afternoon.
Mañana, noche,
Okay,
tarde.
bye.
Wonderful weekend.
We love you.